legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feeling that power you have, your determination to control your breathing. The same way you can take control of your mind anywhere you are, whatever you're doing. Let's use that same power, that same determination to see in our mind the image, the visions that we want to create today in our lives. Good morning, guys. It's impossible what I'm doing right now, here, every single day. And this is from a guy who doesn't believe in the impossible. Well, the reason why I say that to you is that this thing is so powerful. I've gotten to a point in my life where I've had enough. I am tired of seeing this thing be my own worst enemy. And I know we can turn it around and flip it and make it work for us. So my one word, determination, that's the energy, the thing that's within all of us. I want you to find the determination within you. By me opening myself up like this authentically every single day, doing my best to show the power of my mind and the impact in my life, I want you to understand that whatever you're going through, any challenge, anything that gets you emotional, that gets you upset, you can flip it. You can turn that darkness into the greatest light. Have a great day, everybody.
So what if your parents don't support you? Who cares if your team doesn't support you? Who cares if your friends think you're crazy? Who cares if nobody in this world sees your dream? It is not your parents or your professors or your peers or the world's job to support your dream. That's your dream. That dream was sowed into your heart. That dream was given to you to nurture, to protect, to fulfill. It's not somebody else's job. So if your parents don't like your idea, you don't have to live your life to please just your parents. If your friends think you're crazy, it's not your job to make all of your friends think that you're sane. If your professors or the people in your community think, oh my gosh, you're just reckless and crazy and stupid, it's not your job to prove that you're smart to them. Your job is to fulfill that heart's desire. Your job is to fulfill that part of you that is begging you and pleading you to follow your dreams, to follow your heart, to create your thing. So first and foremost, don't think that it is everybody else's job to support you. It's not everybody else's job to cheer you on, to give you money, to invest in you, to pat you on the back every time you walk into your house at night and you did a good job. It's okay that other people have a different vision for themselves than you do. Just like you don't need to judge other people because you don't like their dreams, their desires, or the way they live their life or do their 9 to 5, then you shouldn't worry if they judge yours. And that's the first thing I always tell people is it is not other people's responsibilities to support you or to believe in you. And I know that. You know, when I wrote my first book, no one believed me. I quit my 9 to 5 job and everyone goes, well, you're so crazy to quit this job. Who are you to be a writer? You're a dumb kid. And it's true, who was I to be a writer? But I didn't worry what other people thought or if their judgment was approval for me to go ahead. In my heart, I knew I wanted to write. I wanted to create. And that desire was what I listened to, not other people's judgments or opinions. And remember, most other people's opinions are completely uninformed opinions about you. So I say, first and foremost, own your dream. It's yours, your job to cultivate. It's okay if nobody else believes you. I also think it's really important to realize that you often get more believers the more momentum you get. So stop just talking about this thing, Maybe you've been talking about something for 3 months, 5 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. You're gonna go do that thing, you're gonna do that thing, you're gonna do that thing, but you don't do it. That's why you get a lot of doubters, is because a lot of people just talk and they talk and they talk and they talk, but they're not implementing. The more you implement, the more believers you get, but also the more implement you do, the more haters you gather. Because people start going, well, I wish I could do that, or who do you think you are? And so guess what? The more you follow your dreams, often the more judgment you're gonna get too. You'll get more believers and more judgment. So if you don't deal with that fact that most people won't support you, cheer you on, understand you, believe in you, then as you get more successful, you'll be crushed. Because you'll feel rejected, you'll feel outed, you'll feel like you're stupid, you'll feel like this is the time right now where you go, okay, I can no longer let other people's opinions and judgments and approval drive me. My art, my passion, my hobbies, my dreams, those things fuel me, not other people. That's so paramount. If you can't limit your exposure to them, then change how you react to it. You don't have to accept their energy. You don't have to integrate their criticism. You don't have to pull into your body, into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, their value judgments against you. You don't have to replay their words in your mind over and over and over again. As I've written 6 books now, I have been surrounded by so many critics and so many judgments. We have 200 million video views on my videos online. Guess what? A lot of the people were haters. But instead of seeing them and getting angry about it, I just see it and it's like, swipe, it doesn't affect me anymore. Part of maturity is getting to that point where you can see criticism and see hatred and not make it your own. Not make it about your identity, to allow other people's opinions and judgments to live out there, because they're not gonna go away. You need to accept that. The criticisms, the judgments, the hatred, it's not going away. You'll probably only hear more of it as you grow, even as you get more fame or more people liking you or more people accepting you or you get promoted. People ultimately will support you as you get momentum, but people will still hate you. So if you don't deal with it now, if you don't make a switch in your mind that says, either I'm gonna limit my exposure to them or I'm gonna change how I react to them, you will always be slave to other people's opinions, and that is not a life of freedom that you want to live.
At some point, you have to decide whose life you're living. Are you living your version of your life, or are you living your parents' version of your life, or your friend's version of your life, or your community's version of your life, or society's version of your life? See, everybody has a goal for you, right? Everybody has an idea of what you should do with your life. Everybody has an opinion on how you should be, who you should marry, what job you should take on, how many kids you should have, what profession to get into, what country to live in. Everybody's got an opinion on what you should do with your life. And when you are not standing on a rock solid foundation, what ends up happening is you get pulled in a million different directions. Like, there is no way that you're gonna make everybody happy. There's no way, because there's different competing opinions. And so if you're trying to make this group happy, and then that group happy, and then this group happy, and that group happy, you end up making nobody happy. And worst of all, you're not happy. The biggest problem of all is that you're not happy. I had somebody message me on Instagram the other day saying that they want to chase down their aspirational dreams, be an entrepreneur, but their parents won't let them. Like, okay. Well, at some point you have to decide, when are you living your life? And when are you living your parents' version of your life? And what that requires is you getting off the payroll, right? If you want to live your life, but you're living under their roof, that's a problem, right? When do you stand up for yourself? And maybe if you're 13 years old, that's too young. Maybe you can't do it. Maybe that's not possible, right? But is it at 16? Is it at 18? Is it at 20? Is it at 24? Is it at 32? Is it at 46? Like, it's people in their 50s still living the life that their parents want for them instead of the life that they want for them. Or again, their community, their partner, or the people around them, society. You're not living your version of your life. And so how do we fix it? How do you gain the courage? How do you gain the strength? How do you get the momentum? I'm gonna give you a couple strategies that I hope will help. Number one is to figure out your who. What's your single most important core value? I wrote a book called Your One Word and another one called Built to Serve. And the first exercise that I guide people through is to figure out What is your single most important core value? What do you stand for as a human? You know? And you can read the books that dive in deeper, but if you just thought about it, you spent 2 seconds and thought about it, close your eyes and ask yourself, what is my single most important core value as a human? What is it? And then from there, you gain a new sense of strength and courage, because mine is belief, right? So if you look at mine, believe, well, I need to then do things that are in accordance with belief. Whenever I'm not happy, whenever I'm not bold, whenever I'm feeling down, it's because there's a lack of belief somewhere in my life. Because I want to be doing something, but I'm not. I don't believe in myself, or I don't believe in the thing that I'm doing. It adds a level of clarity that I didn't have before. So what's yours? What's your single most important core value? You know, what do you stand for as a human? And don't worry about it being perfect, but if you're not happy right now, if your most important core value is freedom, and you are feeling trapped under somebody else's rules, you're not gonna be happy. You know why? Because your most important core value is freedom, right? It starts to make sense. So identify what that core value is, because it'll help you make better decisions. It gives you the rock to stand on instead of standing on quicksand. If you're being pulled in a million different directions by other people and their agenda for your time, it's because you do not have that rock. You know something is wrong. You know you're sinking, but you don't know why. And you don't know how to stand strong. This is it. Your single most important core value. Figure out your who. That's step number one. Step number two is, once you figure out your who, we need to start to limit access or cut out the things that make us feel against that. So if my who is believe, then anything that makes me feel a lack of belief, I want to stop spending time with. I want to unsubscribe from the channels that make me feel less than. I want to stop spending time with friends who pull me down. I want to dedicate myself to not being around the negativity. You know, think about the last time you scrolled through Instagram or you're scrolling through YouTube. How many of the videos and piece of content that you watched made you feel better about yourself, right? Like, did it make you feel better about yourself or worse about yourself? That's an important question. Thank you. Did it make you feel better about yourself or worse about yourself? And if it's worse about yourself, if you just found yourself scrolling for 40 minutes through Instagram and now you feel like a loser, it's not Instagram's problem. It's not the platform's fault. It's the people that you're following. Stop following the people who make you feel worse about yourself. How do you know? Well, you have an audit, right? Now that you know your single most important core value, you have a gauge. So for me, does this person that I'm subscribed to or following make me feel more or less believe? Cool. That becomes an easy decision on what to do next, right? Then you go to the people in your life, your friends, your family. Do these people make me feel more or less believe? For me, right? Insert your word for you. Cool. Less, stop spending time with them. Maybe completely cut off access. Or if it's, you know, your parents or somebody really close to you, then put up walls over the things that you will talk about. Limit access. You may not go to the extreme of completely cutting the person out of your life, but at least limiting access so that you don't wake up every day and feel terrible, right? I think that stuff matters. So step number one is we're gonna figure out our most important core value. What's your who, right? Step number two is then we're gonna restrict access or cut off the people, the things that we're feeding into our mind that make us feel worse about ourselves. And then three is we need to inject new great things into our lives. We need to inject new positive, amazing people into our lives, right? People who make you feel your core value, belief, for me, right? So I make my videos still for myself. The videos on my channel, I wanna watch for myself. And thankfully, you guys like it enough that I can turn it into a business, bring on an amazing team, and help go off and inspire even more people. But it's a conscious choice. You know, most of us wake up like an accident and fall into our day. And it's time to make a conscious choice to shift that, to say, no. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be really intentional with who I'm spending my time with, what I'm feeding into my mind, because that'll make a giant difference in how you show up. If you're constantly around negativity, distraction, pessimism, it's not that you can't show up and be great, it's just you're making things 1,000 times harder for yourself. Versus, and you know, you felt it when you're around the people or you're in the environment where you feel bold and powerful, unstoppable, and you can do anything. Guess what? You go off and you start doing amazing things that you never thought you were capable of. And so that's the key difference. You have to protect your dream. You have to realize that everybody has that dream for you, and it's not really for you, it's mostly for them, right? It's like they gave up on their dreams, they never chased down their goals, and so now they're putting all their hopes on you. They want you to go live the life that they never had. But that's not a fair burden to carry, because you don't want their life. You don't want the same things that they want. That's not what you want to do. And so if you can go through that process and recognize that, yes, you have Michael Jordan level genius at something, right? You have Michael Jordan level genius at something. You can be great. And it's probably not doing the things that your parents wanted you to do, or your family, your community, what you grew up learning in school. It's probably something completely different. And when you can figure out your most important core value, when you can completely eliminate or cut off access to the people, the things that bring you down, and we can inject the positivity into your life on a daily basis, on a consistent basis, it'll change everything. Everything. Time to get to work.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Sometimes achievement.
Morning, guys. In our top 10 rules for success today, Jack Ma shares with us his rule number 5, which is get inspired. This is so important. For me, every single day, I wake up in the morning and my mission is get inspired, set my mind so that I can help as many people as possible, including myself. Now, Jack Ma gives us the example of how he would watch movies. He would see different scenes in movies and they would inspire him. So he was inspired by Whitney Houston in the movie The Bodyguard, and the speech that she made, or the way she sang. So he was inspired by how she put her heart into it. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I want you to do. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want in your life, you got to get inspired. I'm so passionate about this because it worked for me. It has saved me. It is transforming this into the most positive thing it can be for everyone. So I hope you get inspired every day. Have a great day, everybody.
Begin to suspend disbelief. Begin to look at the things that you want to create and take all that disbelief and reorganize it, reprogram it, change your perception around it. Because when we're in that story of disbelief, that's what we're creating. So take a minute to really look at all the disbelief and find a way to reframe it, but reframe it in a way that you believe it. So if you've got disbelief that you could never lose that weight, start to reframe it with a belief system that's truthful to you, that's natural to you, something along the lines of, I believe that I can get to the gym every day, and that's my first step. I believe that I have the power to eat more healthfully. So leaning into a belief system that is real for you, that you can actually hold on to, that you can actually believe in. Because if you start to use affirmations and reframes that you don't believe in, they won't work. That's just the bottom line, they won't work. So reach for thoughts that you believe in.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how to attract things into your life. Enjoy.
Sit in a daily experience of visualization. Visualize yourself going to that gym. Visualize yourself in that healthy body. Visualize yourself eating that healthy meal and chewing it slowly. Or visualize yourself on that date with that partner that you long for. Or visualize yourself working with the people that you love to work with that support you so much. And then the next and final most important step is to allow that visualization to become a feeling. Let that visualization take over you emotionally so you can genuinely feel a connection to what you're seeing. So I allow my mind to wander and I see myself and what it is that I desire. And then I let the feeling take over, the feeling of being taken care of, the feeling of being supported, the feeling of working and co-creating with people that I love. And that's what I'm currently visualizing. And so being in that feeling is what truly manifests this into form. What's most awesome also is that you start to feel what you want to create even before it comes into form. So it's as if it's already happened. And that's actually the key point here, which is that you being in the energy of what it is that you want to create actually makes it so that it is there even if you can't see it. And you got to believe it before you see it, as my teacher, Dr. Wayne Dyer, always said.
Rule number 2, rewire your brain.
With John Assaraf.
When you have something in your brain that a neural network says, well, what if this book comes out and you fail? What if it's not good enough? What is scientifically not correct? What if? My brain's going to process that the same way as your brain and everybody else's brain, because everybody's brain's the same. The mechanism of how the brain works, it's Einstein's brain, Hitler's brain, Genghis Khan's brain, Tom Bilyeu's brain, John Assaraf's brain, all the same functionality. So if you understand the mechanics of what's supposed to happen, then you say, okay, great. When I feel this, then what am I going to do? So I like to use an analogy of a car. You're driving a car and you're talking to a friend of yours and a light pops up on the dash. You don't take a hammer and hit a light. It's a signal. Something's happening in the engine, in the trunk, in the tires. Something's happening. Emotions and feelings aren't positive or negative. They're empowering or disempowering to varying degrees if you don't understand them. And so if you think about fear, right? How does a firefighter go into a burning building when there's this enormous adrenaline and epinephrine, that could stop most people dead in their tracks? They learn, here's the feeling, it's normal. Do you have the knowledge and the skills and the preparation to deal with this in a safe way? Go. If you don't, now you retreat. So we have this phenomenal brain, right? It's genius abilities. We can't figure out how to replicate it anywhere with billions of dollars, but we are getting some of the user's manual now. So when you feel fear, what should you do? I teach the first 2 exercises that I teach every one of our students. Number 1 is called Take 6, Calm the Circuits. So if you have this unpleasant, anxious, fearful emotion, energy in motion, right? And it's unpleasant and the brakes have gone on. If you just take 6 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw, you will deactivate the stress response center, which means blood is going to go back to the left prefrontal cortex. The Einstein part of the brain can actually think through this problem, because what happens when the stress response center is activated, blood goes away from that into the fear response. So you have epinephrine, cortisol, adrenaline to be able to get you out of the situation. It's part of our instinctual brain, part of the reptilian brain. The first part of the brain that was developed was that, then the mammalian brain, the limbic system, then the neocortex, the thinking brain. So when our brain has this signal of, oh my God, you might get hurt, you might lose this, you might get in trouble, you might be embarrassed, ashamed, ridiculed, judged, etc., that part of the brain is going to get activated. So if you take 6 deep breaths first, calm down, calm the circuits first, then do exercise number 2 is called AYA, A-I-A. The first A is for awareness. What am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? What am I sensing right now? What is my behavior right now? So you thoughts, feelings, sensations, awareness of behavior. What's my intention right now? That's the I. Well, my intention is to move forward. I want to do this. Great. What's one very small action step that you can take? Now, the reason you want to take one small action step is one small action step your brain can handle. If it's one small step towards it, the threat response goes away. But if you focus on the end game right away, you're going to get that rush and that instant trigger of the fear response, stress response. So the first thing you want to do is learn how to manage your mindset. and what you focus on. Learn how to manage your emotions because they drive your behavior more than anything else. Because we move away from pain and we move towards pleasure, but we move away from pain 1,000 times faster. And pain wires in the brain faster for survival mechanisms. So purely from a neuroscience perspective, just understanding self, once you understand, oh, okay, this feeling is normal, okay, what should I do? Take 6 calm the circuits, Aya, and now you can start being progressive and make progress towards what you want. Now, while you're in the, what am I thinking, feeling, it's a chance to be aware. And the biggest gift we have as human beings is our awareness. Because awareness is what gives you choice. And choice is what gives you freedom. Most people are living their lives in a reactive state, automatic reactive state, because of these set points that we started talking about. So we're in this repetitive cycle over and over and over and over. We react to the same things, we behave the same way, we eat the same foods, we dress the same way, just to maintain that homeostasis and comfort zones. And we've never been taught. Like when were we taught it as kids? Like, here are your 6 core emotions. Here's the way you deactivate your stress center or fear center. Here's how you activate your imagination center. Here's how you have more focus. Here's how you develop a new belief. Here's how you develop a new habit. Here's how you release one. We haven't been taught that. We've been told they're important things, but we haven't been given the tools, and then we haven't practiced the tools enough to be able to make them part of our unconscious competence brain.
Rule number 3, use the power of objectivity.
With Mel Robbins.
Hey, it's Mel, and I'm so excited to share this very simple, surprising, and shockingly powerful trick that you can use if you ever find yourself feeling stuck when you're manifesting. Feeling like you can't visualize the steps that lead you to what you want is an extraordinarily common obstacle when you're manifesting. Because remember, manifesting is the practice of preparing your mind, body, and spirit to do the work to achieve the things that you want. And as you probably know, manifesting has 4 different parts to it. First of all, you got to give yourself permission to really have what you want, okay? Because you got to have the thing that you're visualizing be something that is authentically something that you want. Number 2, you must see yourself taking the steps, the tiny actions, and doing the work that will lead you to creating or having what you want. Third, you got to feel in your body what it feels like to do the work. And you also have to feel pride as you see yourself doing the work, because that amplifies your mind, body, and spirit really imprinting and training and preparing for it. And fourth, obviously, you got to take the actions. And all of that manifesting and preparing inspires you to take the actions. But one place where so many folks get stuck when they start trying to make manifesting a daily habit is you go and you know what you want, but then you sit down and you try to imagine what the steps are that you need to take to get there, and you don't have a clue. Your mind goes blank. If this is you, I'm so excited that you're watching this, because the simple trick based in science is called the power of objectivity. All you got to do is stop visualizing yourself and insert your friend Mel Robbins, or insert somebody else that you love and admire. And the power of objectivity is going to immediately switch you from a blocked mind to one that is bolder and more creative and able to visualize the steps. Now, I'm not just making this up. There's extraordinary research that was just written about in the Harvard Business School Review. They did 8 different studies at the University of Wisconsin, where they were studying the power of objectivity. And with thousands of participants, here's what they found. When participants tried to visualize themselves doing hard things, immediately, the participants, when they thought about themselves doing something hard, like let's just say asking for a raise, okay? I want you to imagine yourself asking for a raise or applying for that dream job. When you visualize yourself doing it, you immediately focus in on minutia. You start imagining all kinds of things that could go wrong. You start arguing against yourself, and doubt comes flooding in. You have a very cautious mindset when you place yourself in those scenarios. However, If you were to visualize me, Mel Robbins, asking for that raise, immediately your mindset switches to being very bold, being creative, seeing all kinds of opportunities. And in fact, when you not only visualize me, your friend Mel Robbins, asking for that raise that you want, when you give me advice, you're super enthusiastic. You're like, Mel, you should go for it. And I bet in your life, you have probably told friends or loved ones, you should ask for more money. And you mean it because you're visualizing them. But you yourself won't visualize yourself doing that. You talk yourself out of it. We've all had this experience. You yourself are probably sitting there going, you're right, Mel. I constantly tell my friends, you deserve more. You should break up with that jerk. Do. You should go for it. But when it comes to yourself, you see the excuses and doubt. So I want you to leverage not only this common sense, but this research to your advantage when it comes to manifesting. Pick what you want. And then if your mind goes blank when it comes to seeing yourself do the work, literally just insert your friend Mel Robbins or insert anybody that you love. In fact, I got a story about this. Years and years ago, this would have been, 20 years ago. At the time, I was a life coach and I had a really small little practice here in Boston. And I went to a seminar that Oprah Winfrey had here at the Boston Convention Center. It was part of her Live Your Best Life tour. And I went to the seminar because I thought, well, this would be a great place to land life coaching clients, right? You got thousands of women at the convention center who all want to improve your life. So I can go and I can network, and who knows, I might meet some amazing women and meet some amazing business partners and land some clients. So I'm sitting in the audience and, the DJ starts playing the music and everybody gets out of their chairs and we all start dancing around with our name tags on. And then all of a sudden the DJ dies down the music and we all settle down and this woman walks onto stage. Now, I didn't recognize this woman. I didn't have my program in my hand, so I had no idea who it was. I had never seen her before. I had never heard her before. When they announced her name, not a clue. All I knew was when she started talking, something inside me was like, zzz, energetically, something shifted. I bet you've had those moments where you're like, boom, you know that something is meant for you. You just feel pulled toward. Like you can have this experience with a piece of clothing, with a house, with a puppy, with a person, with an experience, with a place. Well, this woman walks on stage and I had this energetic shift that was like, and I immediately felt my body go, you need to be doing that. But what I saw was she's on a stage. She's clearly an author. She's making people laugh. She's inspiring. Oh my gosh, she's a life coach? Well, this person I'm talking about is none other than Martha Beck. I didn't know her at the time, but she's an international best-selling author. She writes for O Magazine. She was clearly speaking on a stage. And guess what? She was Oprah's designated life coach. And so I have this energetic shift where I'm like, I want to be doing that. I want to go from just coaching individual clients to having an impact on a much bigger scale. Now, keep in mind, at the time, I have only been coaching people for 2 or 3 years. I've never given a speech. I had never written an article in a magazine. I didn't have a book. I didn't know how to do any of those things. But I went home from that seminar and I sat down and I cracked open my journal and I'm like, I want to speak on stages. I want to write things for magazines. I want to write a book. I want to impact millions of people. I want to do what Martha Beck is doing. I didn't know how to do any of it. And so I developed this simple tool. Now, little did I know, I was just instinctively leveraging the power of objectivity. Since I didn't know what to do, and I also didn't know who to ask, because 20 years ago, I didn't know a single person that had published a book. I didn't know anybody that wrote for magazines. I didn't know anybody that spoke on stages for a living, and I certainly didn't know anybody that knew Oprah. So I didn't even have anybody that I could ask. There weren't as many articles online, so it's not like I could blog. YouTube was not really a thing, so it's not like I could watch videos. I mean, you know how lucky you are to be able to research all this stuff? I was just me, Mel Robbins, with a handful of clients here in Boston, now inspired to do what Martha Beck's doing, with no clue how to go from here to there. I didn't know the steps. So I came up with this little tool. It's so funny when I think about it now. Do you want to know what the tool was? What would Martha Beck do? That was it. What would Martha Beck do? Because I figured Mel Robbins had never done any of those things, but Martha Beck had. So in any moment where I didn't know what I should do, I just figured I would ask myself, well, what would Martha Beck do? And I kind of thought that maybe if I acted like she acted, maybe I would eventually start to steer my life in the direction that her life was headed in terms of writing books and standing on stages 20 years ago. So I was leveraging the power of objectivity. So this is what happened. A couple weeks go by and nothing miraculous happens in my life. And I get an email and I'm up late and I'm working on something and this email comes in. And the email is from a friend of mine who works in New York. Hadn't seen her in a while, but she knew that I was a life coach. And I noticed that she was forwarding a PR request from Inc. magazine. And Kate wrote to me, hey, Mel, not sure if you're still life coaching, but see below. Someone is writing an article about life coaching for Inc. magazine. Thought you may be interested in applying. So I scroll down and I immediately start to read the email. Now, there were a couple things that jumped out immediately, right? Number one, the PR request was over a month old. Number two, the deadline had already passed for submissions to be featured in the article. Number three, I had none of the credentials that they were looking for life coaches. Number four, I had none of the types of clients that they were looking for. Now, thinking about it from Mel Robbins' point of view, my mind got very cautious and I started to focus on all the minutia. I'm too late. I'm not qualified. I've missed the deadline. They're never going to pick me. Self-doubt started to creep in. Just like it's happening for you when you manifest right now. Your mind is going blank. You're full of doubt, which is why you can't see the steps. I, in that moment, asked myself, well, I know what Mel Robbins would do. Mel Robbins would hit delete and go on with her evening. But what would Martha Beck do? The second I leveraged the power of objectivity and I imagined her in the situation that I was in, my mind got more creative, it got bolder, it got more energized, I saw possibility. I literally said to myself, well, what have I got to lose? Martha Beck would probably just respond. And so I did. I just freeformed the thing and wrote this long email, and then hit send. Do you know the very next morning, the person that had sent the inquiry out wrote me back and said, I've already finished the article. I was about to submit it, but I was so taken with your email that I'd love to come up to Boston and follow you around for a day and include you in the article. And it was that article, which published about 5 months later, that caught the attention of a bunch of people in the media business in New York. And that's what caused this major pivot that happened in my career. Honest to God, it was the power of objectivity and simply asking myself, what would Martha Beck do? So, super common to feel super stuck when you know what you want, but you can't visualize yourself taking those steps because you're thinking cautious. Your self-doubt is consuming you. You are insecure in your ability to actually do those things, so you can't even embrace the visualization of yourself doing it. Simple. Insert someone else. And you can always pick your friend Mel Robbins.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 4, be extraordinary.
With Brendan Burchard.
I get asked.
Good morning, guys. I want to share a funny story with you again. Yesterday with my students, every day we try to work on the power of our mind, try to show kids the positive power of their choices. Yesterday I had said something and this made me laugh because this is where we got to watch our words carefully, especially with kids. I love kids. They are so innocent. They are going to say it like it is based on what they hear. So yesterday I made a comment about you lose when you make a decision that doesn't bring out your best. You lose the best part of yourself. And then one of the kids said, does that mean so-and-so is a loser? And I said, no. I said, everyone's a winner, including you. We just haven't learned how to win in every decision we make. So every decision we make is a choice that shows that we're winners if it's a winning decision. But I had to be so careful because I wasn't calling the kid a loser. They lost in that decision. They got it after, but it was powerful. Have a great day.
You have to find what feels good for you. What feels good for me, as an example, a calm, slow morning. I'm pretty dumb in the morning. I'm slow to rouse in the morning. I like to kind of shuffle around the house, get a tea or coffee, and then I'll sit down with my book, a little piece of paper or my journal, and I like a slow morning. A slow morning is great for my mental health. That's for me. My wife is the opposite. She's incredible. By like 10 a.m., she has done more than most humans in a decade. I don't know how she does it. Shout out to Denise. She wakes up and a list of things download into her brain and she just starts going at them. It's unbelievable. Talk about a morning person. Me, my mom, the opposite. My dad, he was ready to get up and go to work because he was in the military all his life. Biologically, we all have different rhythms, don't we? Some of those are conditioned and we create. Some of that's how we are. I think I conditioned my slow morning because I like it. What feels good to me is a slow morning. How simple is that? How controllable is that? Even if there's chaos and there's a lot going on, I can find my moments to recalibrate and reset, even if it's hectic and crazy because there's people around the house or something's going on. Still, I gotta make sure that that morning finds those moments of calm and peace and intention for myself. Otherwise, it can really frazzle out a lot of the day.
Need motivation?
Watch the top 10 of Believe Nation because I love it.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle.
But you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best.
So today, let's learn from one of the best, Brendon Burchard, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, demand excellence of yourself.
What's my energy vision? How do I really want to feel? How do I want to feel mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually? That is an energy vision. That's an energy vision. And I had to set that in my life. Most of that came from pain. I was mentally and emotionally exhausted, depressed, suicidal, and I knew I didn't want that. The car accident I had at 19 years old, at a time when I was suicidal, helped me realize I didn't want to die. I just didn't know how to live. It helped me realize I didn't want to feel like that anymore. I just know how to feel better. And that's why I'm here today. That's what got me into personal development. I was a young, dumb kid from Montana who had no idea how to feel better. And I said, you know what? I want to feel better.
Rule number 3, practice planning.
You know what feels good for me? Planning. Planning. If you look at my growth day, my plan, it's full. It's filled out with plans and deadlines and reminders. If you look at next to my computer, there's all these checklists written down. And by the way, I don't naturally do that. I actually don't like planning. I love the mental and emotional effect of planning. Anyone follow that one? Yeah, you guys see, right? That's the difference maker for me. I don't like the act of sitting down and doing it. It's not like I find tons of joy in organizing my life. I just don't. I love the mental clarity, the peace, the progress that comes from making plans. Write down your goals, write down your deadlines, identify your projects, know who you need to reach out to, know who you're waiting on, know what your priorities are of the day. If you need any advice on this in Growth Day, remember, you can go to the Learn section, you can smash the Watch Past Events, and you can watch an entire month of training on productivity. You can go to your courses and watch an entire training on the habit of productivity from the world's the world's, largest research study on high performance habits. That high performance habit builder course that you have unlocked in the course section of your app. Just go to the learn section, go to courses, and you can see high performance habit builder. There's a whole section just on productivity. And that productivity isn't done just to get ahead and to succeed. It's because you feel better when you organize your life better. When you lead life and live life with more intention, when you have a little bit more clarity, you feel better. Strip away someone's clarity, their intention, their connection with what they need to do today, and misery sets in over time. We just know it. With no connection to our intention and our future, we feel less motivated and good today. That's why the plan is so important for me.
Rule number 4, improve your life.
Could you write that down and underline it 20 times for me? Improve the situation. Build the relationship. I literally mean this. Don't watch this passively. Write it on a piece of paper right now. Paper, pen, remember those? Improve the situation. Underline, underline, underline. Build the relationship. Underline, 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 underline. If you could do me that favor, we just change your life forever. If you can look at that piece of paper before you have that next difficult conversation, we just change your life forever. Improve the situation. Build the relationship. Someone make me a quote card and post it on social media. Tag me up. I want to see it. All right? Improve the situation. Build the relationship. From that perspective, everything can change. Now, trust me, I know. Already in your mind, you've been thinking, but you don't understand. This guy tweet me. You don't understand. This person said this on social media. You don't understand. I got this email. You ain't met my husband yet. I know. You're like, oh, you don't know my boss. You don't know this. No, I do know. I've worked with them for 15 years, every single week through conflict relationships. I've been there. I've seen it all. And I know those with the higher intention win over the long term. Now, we're going to talk about how to deal with jerks later. But what are we starting with? We're starting with you. We're starting with your frame of the world, shared future, respectful process, empathy and encouragement. We're talking about you, your identity. Who are you going to be? And what are your intentions? We got to start with you. If you start the thought of conflict and you're immediately blaming and pointing at other people, man, you're behind the times. We can't do that anymore. It didn't work. We've tried that in societies. You've tried that in other relationships. You got to be personally responsible for yourself, your identity and your intentions first. Isn't that one of the hallmarks of all personal development work? Personal responsibility starts with you. Change starts with you guys.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, master communication.
When you
Feel that? Feel that power? That oneness of us controlling our breathing and our minds? Right here, right now? No matter how hard our movements, exercises were today, no matter how much our body tried to take control of our minds, feel that? That's you. It's our consciousness, our being awake fully, to control our minds, to control our breathing, to control our bodies,